Hey guys, welcome back to TPG. My name's Shane, and today, I want to start a little bit of a mini series, I guess, on photography and sort of like the why of photography, really. Not so much about gear and things, but there will be a bit about that. But I want to encourage, especially the new people. You've just started photography, you are getting into photography, thinking about it, or you've already been in photography, a seasoned enthusiast. And even a pro, because I've been doing photography my whole life, and even I can still learn things, and I learn things every day, new things, new ideas, not editing and things like that, but as such in those kind of things, but why I take photography and how I translate what I feel and what it is that I want to show and say, and that I try and put into the imagery I create. So I wanted to just sit and to say, when you start photography, it's not so much about the gear. To a degree it is, but it's also not. You have to first, because in that moment you're excited about it, and the main thing is to have fun with photography. Throughout your whole photography career, if it's a business, or if it's just a hobby or it's a passion, you have to have fun. And there's a few things I'm going to talk about, like how to go ahead and do that. If so for the most part, when you're starting out, you've got a camera, whatever that is, the latest or greatest, or it's the entry level thing, or it's a film camera, or it's an old age vintage DSLR, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it goes click and you have a lens on the front of it and you're good to go. Forget about all the fancy gears and things like that. The basic things you're going to need if you really want to add some gear to a camera: get yourself a ND filter, a polarizer, and a tripod. You got that, and you can do so much. So don't get hung up on the gear. Don't think, oh, I need this and I must buy this and I need all the wonderful things. Things can come once you understand what you want to do and what you don't want to do, and that's very important. So let's have a look at some images quickly, just to show you what I'm shooting and what I create and things like this. I predominantly shoot people, but I also enjoy shooting streets and landscapes and abstract work and a whole genre of things. I'm not focused on one thing, because you don't limit yourself, because inspiration also comes from doing different things. So let's have a look at some images quickly. So most people are either going to take photos of a landscape, or they're going to take street scenes, depending where you are and what you want to do and that type of thing. So let's have a bit of a look here on what I create and the type of thing. So here is a seascape. So you could, if you're on the ocean, near the ocean, or any water, you could create things like this, and it's beautiful, very serene and quiet. Or you could be in another urban type environment, or sorry, like sort of rural environment. I mean, this is all in Africa. You could be creating things like this. So everybody, it doesn't matter what you shoot, or like abstract work from the seaside. I mean, this is a rock. It's not even wood. Or to me, it looks like wood. Yeah. But I mean, it's just beautiful. I love creating abstract scenes like this, to really get the viewer to look at things and look at the image and go, wow, that's a bit different. They don't get hung up on so much on the rule of thirds and things and all those types. Just take what you like. So you might be doing in a local park on a misty day. You could do that. Just long exposure on a tripod and off you go. You might do things like that on a seaside. Down in Brighton. Yeah, this is in Brighton, and I always like to include people, because it just tells a bit more of a story. So you could do work like that. Or somebody's going to probably say, well, I'm more into urban stuff, so there's urban scenes. So you could create urban scenes. Beautiful imagery you can create no matter where you are. It doesn't matter on the place, the location, inside a museum. It all depends on what type of photographer you are, creating different, like I create portraits like this, but it could be a scene of a stranger. You could do any number of things. So it all depends on what you want to do and that kind of a thing. So what I'm trying to show you there is just kind of decide what you like. Don't go and get stuck on ideas that you see all around the place. Have an idea of what you want to create. If you like people, then focus on people. Take photos of people, your family, your friends, or whatever, and have a plan of what you like. Don't just go out and go, oh, I've got a camera now, I'm going to go out and take pictures. Well, you're probably going to get frustrated and stuck because you haven't thought about, well, maybe I'd like to take seascapes, or I want to go and do this, or I want to go. And when you start saying I want to, then you generally end up actually doing that thing. So that's the important thing. You don't need to be, if we have a look at some other things over here, when you're shooting like urban scenes and stuff, it doesn't have to have people in so it could be something a little more quiet and storytelling, and invite people to really look at the image and go through it and see what's there and whatever it is. It's an important thing to be able to put your own sort of stamp on these pictures. Is it a moody picture you want to create? Is it a bright sunny day? Is it a stormy day? All those types of things. And then I wanted to just talk a little bit about, having that plan, but also being inspired to go out and do things. Do you want to portray a mood, like I said, or you want to portray a feeling in your street photography? Is it in your landscape work, or for people, or whatever it is? Have an idea of what you want to create. Like, have this passion to want to tell a story. There's nothing wrong with going out and just being a photographer that just clicks pictures and say, wow, I really enjoy this. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. But your photography will level up when you start going, well, I've had a really happy week. I want to take happy photos. I want to take sad photos. I want to convey an emotion. How do I do that? So that's where you start looking at things, and maybe watching movies, looking, if you can get hold of photography books, look through them, look through things like this. Find a way to get inspired by really good photographers. That type. Don't sit and get stuck on the latest and greatest fashion, or the newest preset, or the edit like this person and be like that. First understand what you want to be and what you want to create, and looking at things like galleries and exhibitions, photography books. Yes, use the internet. But Google maybe a list of the top master photographers or something like this. And if you have the ability to go to galleries and they are in your local area, go and see them, even of local artists and photographers. Look at sculpture, look at books, paintings, get inspired by these things, because this is where you can draw inspiration from other people. And I'm gonna say, one of the things people who want to go more into photography, or already are enthusiasts, or in a much higher level, or very been doing photography for a number of years, and they're like, oh, but I haven't got a style, I'm trying to, don't try too hard to make a style to be this or be that. And please stay away from Instagram. Stay away from Instagram. It is full of people trying to push presets, buy my latest this, get this, edit like this person, be like that. You're not those people. Rather, YouTube somebody. There are some channels that will show you how to edit properly. Learn color theory. Learn film. Even if you're not shooting a film camera, watch some videos and see how the grain reacts to an image. How it looks. Once you start doing those little things, then take a few of your pictures and print them. Even if they're really small, just print them so you can actually hold them in your hands. And when you get that real thing in your hand, your photography comes alive. When it's your stamp on something, it becomes you, it becomes alive. So don't get stuck on being this photographer and that person and editing like this and everything must look teal and orange or brown or whatever. Don't do that, because you're going to end up going years later, well, it's like, oh, my images really suck, and you think that you're rubbish, but you copying somebody that might not even be a photographer. They're just trying to sell presets because they understand how to work Lightroom or Photoshop or whatever the editing software is, just making money selling presets or whatever it is. So, yep, I even researched this. Look, I made notes. So, but, you just need to understand what it is you want to do with your photography, what it is you want to understand. So let's have a little look more at, so let's say if you want to photograph people, is it people you want to shoot in a studio space, which could be your bedroom, it could be anywhere, it doesn't matter where it is. Is it this type of portraits? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to, is it street work that you want to do that's people-based? It could be something like these. Very, very, all sorts of different kind of work. It depends what you want to do. You could do anything. Let's have a look at something else. So maybe a good way to practice photography is to, if you're more enthusiast already and going forward, and to practice your photography, even as a beginner, is very important. Everyone thinks I need to go to Hawaii to photograph these beautiful scenes. Well, as we look at some of these images here, you're going to see they're very boring, everyday images, but they could tell a very big story, and it depends on how you convey mood and that storytelling capability that you create by forcing yourself to look at things, and sometimes using one lens only. Take a cheapest little 35mm or whatever it is which you've got, 50 or 85 prime lens or whatever it is, and stick it on and leave everything else at home and just use that. Or go out and just shoot in black and white for a whole day. Refuse to, look at anything. Or sometimes if your camera's got a flip screen like most Canons and that type of thing, close the screen and look through the viewfinder and shoot. And shoot like that, and then when you go home, look at your pictures. So let's look at some of these. This is a very barbed wire with a black bin bag. But what story does it tell you? What does it convey to you? Does it make you feel like you're stuck inside, or you tried to escape but you got caught on the way out and life's just dragged you down and holding you down? It could be any number of things. That image, you can obviously tell is shot in this little area here, and this is just a parking space in the back of a block of flats. That's all it is. So just another perspective on it. What is it showing you? And yes, please experiment with your compositions. It doesn't have to be rule of thirds and this golden circles or whatever. Whatever. Just take the picture and break the rules. You do not need to shoot everything to the rules. This is a very boring scene. There's nobody there. There's nothing going on. But for me, it tells this whole story of lockdown. Nobody's there. The grass has grown. It's overgrown. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's out. Everything's quiet. This is a simple image of an item of clothing that's fallen off the washing line. But to me, I just find it very interesting. The shadow just created this almost face in this harsh sunlight that people would just pick it up and hang it back up, but I'm like, that's very interesting. So what is it that you want to show? What is it that you want people to see? Is that an award-winning picture? No. But does it maybe tell a story? Does it remind you of something in your past, or something that is just a little different to everything else? The subject is slap bang in the middle, and why would you do that? And you can't even see the face. It's a foot and a hand. So there's lots of things you can go through and understand and create. If you're into street photography, what do you shoot? Are you shooting with a 200mm lens from across the road, or are you up in somebody's face like this? It depends on the type of person you are. Do you want to create happiness or mood? I'm not the kind of photographer who goes out on the street sometimes when I shoot street work to hide away or shoot from across the thing, or I'm not that person. In that image there, you can see the woman. I literally looked at her through the crowd and I smiled at her, and then I took her picture. It just looks really, really interesting, and obviously the bloke in the background with the cap and the vaping just sort of rounded off the image, but it's pretty cool. So don't be scared to go out and engage with people on the streets. You know, storytelling, stories like little kids still going through the puddles where the father is avoiding it. You know, little things. What are you trying to show? What kind of mood? What kind of storytelling images are you trying to create? Like here, you've got a massage parlor right next to a hot buffet meal. Eat as much as you like. You know, it tells a story. So, what is it that you want to say? You know, what are you trying to show? Have an intent with your images. These guys were trying to be all cool in front of these bunch of girls walking past all the time. So I made sure I stuck them on the side of the frame, and I made sure that Cool Britannia is there because they were trying to be the coolest of the lot. You know, so yeah, it depends. You know, don't be afraid to shoot images and let people see your emotion through your pictures. Shoot color, shoot black and white, take pictures of people, engage with them on the street. Sometimes don't. Understand and try and learn where is it that you fit in. What story are you trying to tell? What is it that you're trying to show people? What is it that is important to you? Because if it's important to you, it's important to them. If it's diluted and it looks the same as everybody else's, and you have your Instagram presets, then your photos are going to look like everybody else's. So I hope this just helped you a little, just to understand where to get some inspiration from. Watch old movies, look at photography books, old past photographers, some new ones, you know, and look at the new guys, some of maybe the top 10 that really inspire you, and research them and find out who their inspiration were. So then you can see where their core comes from, and then you go, oh wow, I don't like that, but I like this, and I like what he did here, not here, and the current photographer, well, I like this picture, but these are rubbish. And then take that and mash it all together and say, well, how can I recreate this? You know, how do I then start learning on topics like black and white photography, street photography, but not by the usual people on Instagram or YouTube. You know what I mean? Really search out some of the smaller channels, you know, and guys that are putting out real proper content, and watch what they're saying, and don't take everything to heart from what everybody says. But I'm not trying to. It's not a sponsored video by this company or that company. It's just me talking to you, because I've been shooting photography my whole life, and it's my passion. I enjoy doing it. Even in my spare time, I'm shooting imagery. I'm shooting wherever I can, whatever it is. If I like the picture, I'll take it. I've got so many images people will probably never ever see, but I just love taking them. At the moment, I was like, that was very cool. So I encourage you to come back and subscribe to the channel. There's going to be some more. Well, going in depth about street photography, black and white, color work. Yes, I'll talk color theory and some gear and presets, and you know, and how to create these things for yourself and understand what it is that you can take from what I know and apply it to you. Because I'm really, really tired of seeing all this Instagram. It's all the same, you know, and all these other preset-based things, just one-click wonder, and oh, my photography looks like so-and-so. No, it doesn't. You know, you first got to create the picture. Preset can't fix it. You know, don't shoot your pictures to edit. Create them first. You'll never get it perfect in camera, but stop and look at the light. Stop and look at what's going on. Just stand and look and see, and then photograph, you know. So I hope this has been a little bit of inspirational to guys that are brand new, guys that are just starting out. And please, any questions, drop it in the comments. I'm right there. I'm going to put some links to other presets that you can have a look at, you know, that I've started getting. I'll give them away for nothing. They're not really presets, sorry, but you know, filters and little actions and things, so you could drop it on your work. You know, I'm coming with a whole bunch of other things that I'll be giving away for people. But obviously I'm a full-time photographer, so time is also, you know, not always on my side to make all the videos. But you know, if you photograph people, and you got paying work and that type of thing, you know, there's another video which I have over here which can edit skin. That doesn't have a affiliate link, but it's incredible software. Just, you know, I'll link to it. Go and have a look at the videos, go and get it. You know, it's superb stuff. Especially if you're shooting weddings and getting into portrait work and things, this is for you. But let me know in the comments what you are, where you are in your journey with your camera and your photography, and what you're shooting with. You know, you don't need the latest and greatest, and you know, I just glad to be putting this content out, and I hope that it reaches you guys and you all really can take some inspiration from it. Go and find inspiration from other people, top photographers, past photographers, and apply it to your own work, and be intentional about what you create. Don't just go and click for the sake of clicking. Have an idea, because that's how you'll get your style, that's how you get your photography to where you might want to get it. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.